1 month ago, I went in for my B1, B2 visa interview and I got approved for a 10-year visitor's visa to United States. Before my interview, I watched over 20 videos on YouTube about what it takes for me to be approved a visa. And I would say I've gathered all of that information and it helped me to be approved my visa. As a first-time person with a brand new passport, my passport is as new as 2024, that when it was issued. I had never been out of the country before and I got approved to go and visit the United States. What documents did I have with me, what questions they asked me, and how did I answer them. So if you're planning to go to the United States, you want to watch this video because it's really going to be worth your while in order to know what you need to say in front of the consulate officer, what you need to take with you, things that might help you in your interview process in preparation as you fill in your DS-160 form. Like I mentioned, the first thing that you need is the DS-160 form. So I've made my notes, so if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes. So it's the DS-160 form and you find that in this website. You have to go to this website to fill in the form. And when you're filling in the form initially, there is a number that you need to remember and write it down. So I'll do a separate video where I go through the steps of how to properly fill the DS-160 form. But now we're just going to go through the requirements, the documents, the interview questions, and the answers. Okay, so yeah, you're going to write that code down. And before you go in to fill the form on the DS-160 form, go in and take your pictures, right? So you need to take a headshot image and they need to be a certain size. So if you go into the United States, they need to be a certain size, like a square. And if you are going into other countries, maybe Europe countries, it's a different size. So you need to specify to the people that are going to be taking your picture that I'm going to the United States and it needs to be a square. All right. And then after you've taken the picture, then you need to be able, other people take them with the phone. I have an iPhone, but I didn't want to risk it. So I just went to the photographer to take my phone, to take my pictures. Other people take them with the phone and they work out fine, just so that you work out the measurements and the requirements. Okay, after that you need to go now and pay for your DS-160 form. You need to pay for the DS-160 form, remembering that you've taken note of everything that you've written down. United States for a vacation. Maybe you and your family are going to visit Disneyland. Are you visiting a family that lives in the United States that is under B1, B2 visa? Are you going for business? Did your work book you to go and attend a conference for work that is under B1, B2 visa? Are you going for a medical procedure? Are you going for a graduation? Are you graduating? Are you attending a graduation ceremony for somebody? Are you going in for a medical treatment that your doctor has booked you? Are you going in for normal vacation that people take? That is all under B1, B2 visa. So you need to determine what type of visa do you need first before you apply. If you are going in for school and to study, then it's a different type of visa. This one, B1, B2, is called non-immigrant visa. That is for tourist or business. It's all under B1, B2 visa. But then you need to determine, is it B1 or is it B2 in the selection? Okay, so once you've determined that, then you need to fill in the DS-160 form. Filling in this form correctly is what determines you whether or not you're going to get the visa or not. So you need to make sure that when you fill in this form, I always advise that filling that form, even put in an audio recording and record yourself as you're filling in the form, because you can fill in the form in March and only get an approval to come in for the interview in June, because the dates are very scarce. In my country, the dates for an interview are very scarce. You don't fill in the form today and get an interview the following week. You have to book the interview. Know exactly what you are filling. Remember what you are filling in, because those questions are going to be asked. You might think, oh, but I've already put it in the form. They know it's there. You need to answer exactly. If you said in your form that you're going for 10 days, they're going to ask you when you get there, how long are you going to be there? And you have to still say 10 days, regardless if your plans change or anything. So that's why I say, if you can put a recorder, put a recorder. Or voice note it, do something, anything, just for you to remember that's what you put in the form. They're gonna ask you your dates on the DS-160 form, and they're gonna ask you, do you know your flight number? If you have booked a flight, put it in. For my application, I put my flight and my return flight in there because by the time I fill in the DS-160 form, the flights were booked. So put all of that information in there. I wouldn't say it affects your application if you haven't booked the flight, because there are other friends of ours who were also going on a different trip, but to United States. We're applying for the similar visa, hadn't booked the flights before. Haven't booked the flight before their trip, but they got approved. So it all depends on how you answer. So do not say, oh, but I don't have money to book a trip now. But one thing you need to know is exactly when are you going? When are you going for the trip? Know that there are people in the interview who, when I was in the interview, and the room is very small. It's you can literally hear what everybody is getting asked because of how small the room is. You're all standing from when they check your documents to when you go for an interview. You're standing, so you see what they're getting asked, you hear what they're getting asked when they're asking for their documents. So one lady got asked, when are you going to the United States? Like, when are you going? And she said, oh, we don't know yet, we're still planning. We're still planning our trip, so we don't know yet. She got no visa. She left without getting her visa. Disapproved, denied. Another guy was asked similar question, when are you going? And he said, not too sure if I'm gonna start in Canada first, or I'm gonna go to United States to see my daughter, or go to Canada to see my son. I'm still undecided. Was denied. So you need to be specific. Be specific. We're going for 2 weeks in September 13 to September 14. No roundabout on your dates when you get to the front of the consulate officer. You need to know your answers, and the answers you put on the DS-160 form, you need to be able to say in front of the consulate officer. Because as he asks you these questions, he's looking down on the computer. He's gonna be like this and capturing, yes, you're answering, capturing how you are answering, also your body language. Oh, I cannot stress that enough. The consulate officer only gets a chance to look at your DS-160 form on the day of your interview. So he's going to be scanning through and asking you, okay, when are you going to the United States? In terms of the interview, when you prepare for an interview, I'm just going to put in